Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from a small island called St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Oh, it's the diplomatic relationship
Yeah,
with
it has
Taiwan.
diplomatic relationships with Taiwan.
Whoa. So when you come to Taiwan, how do you feel about the culture here?
At first, I was maybe a little bit taken aback, primarily because, Chinese is not my main language. My main language is English. So it was very difficult to navigate. We don't really have like MRTs and stuff like that. So it was very different. Like where I'm from, we're accustomed to saying like, good morning and stuff like that. But here, people don't really say good morning a lot, like you say hello to your neighbors and stuff like that. Here, you walk out the door and you just go to work or you go to school. You don't have to tell your neighbor good morning, anything like that. In terms of like the temples, I found that to be very interesting because there aren't any temples in St. Vincent. So I was very fascinated about, what they go to the temples to do, the history behind the temples. So I visit like a lot of temples just to like grasp the culture. And then my favorite part would definitely be the night markets.
Oh, that's amazing.
I mean, where else can you find like a lot of food? And the dishes are interesting. I'm still getting used to it. Chodofu, which is stinky tofu, caught me off guard at first because I'm like, why does it smell like this? But then when I tasted it, it was actually pretty good. So now I kind of eat it a lot.
Because I believe most of Taiwanese people, they don't know much about the St. Vincent culture. Because maybe by your appearance, maybe we won't thought, oh, you are from St. Vincent. So I wonder, as a black, maybe in Asia, what do you feel? Do people treat you in a different way or?
Okay, well, I can list the good and the bad. The bad, I'd say, is that constantly staring. Everywhere I go or my friends go, it's the stares, And then there are a few instances where people would like take out their phones and take a picture. So like it's kind of like an invasion of privacy because like you didn't ask to take my picture. So to me it feels disrespectful, but at the same time I kind of understand that there's not a lot of black people in Taiwan. So it is definitely I'd say a mind opener for them. So that's I've kind of gotten used to it, but not so much. Another thing would be, I don't know if it's because they're shy, but normally when we go on like the bus or the MRT, if we sit in a seat, no one would want to sit there. It'll stay like empty, and I can tell like the person wants to sit down. So like I'd be like, you can sit, and it'd always be like Megwanchi, and I'm like, okay, that's all right. But the good is that I have met like a lot of interesting people, especially the old folks. They're generally like interesting, like they ask you questions, where you're from, so it's a good chance for me to practice my Chinese as well. Although sometimes they do ask like some very personal questions. So, other than that, like there are instances where you meet like people that are just like, they're like so genuinely nice. So I'd say like experience as a black person in Taiwan, there's good and there's bad. But I think at the end of the day, you've got to like separate it and not like personally figure that all Asian people are bad just because majority of your experiences have been bad. I mean, I've had a few, but I can definitely say I've had a lot more good ones as well.
So what is the Caribbean culture? Is it very similar to maybe US black people's culture?
Don't know much black Americans, so I can't speak for black Americans. I can only speak for I'd say Caribbean people. And another thing to note is that in the Caribbean there are many different islands. So we've all got a different way of doing things or different way of, different cultures. But majority, I'd say we're very easygoing people. We like to have fun. We like to make the most out of life. I can guarantee you that if you come to the Caribbean, if you visit St. Vincent, you're going to have the time of your life. It doesn't matter which Caribbean country you go to. They're going to welcome you with warmth, with love. They'll show you the sights. They'll take you all over, let you try the food. So I can't say much about Black Americans, but I can tell you about Caribbean people. And I think one of the similarities that Caribbean people have with the Aboriginals here, because I spent some time with some of the Aboriginals and it reminded me so much of home. Because, you know, I got invited into their homes. They would feed me with a lot of food, a lot of alcohol. That was a lot of drinking. But other than that, it felt like I was back home. It felt like love, like genuine, like they just cared. So, yeah.
So what is the best things in St. Vincent if people want to move to St. Vincent?
Oh, the best scenes, the things to do, I'd say you've got to visit the waterfalls. I can't tell you how many waterfalls we have right now, because I know we have more than 100. So there's a lot for you to explore. You've also got to hike our volcano. It's called La Soufrière, and it erupted just a few years ago, so the landscape has changed, but it is still a very gorgeous view. Another thing is our beaches. We've got crystal clear waters, you know. Go for a swim, you can go snorkeling. We also have the Grenadine Islands, so you can go to islands like Bequia, Musty, Canoan, you know, sightseeing, windsurfing, you know, just have a good time. And of course we have a festival called Carnival that happens in the month of June and early July. A lot of foreigners generally come around that time. We don costumes. You take to the streets. There are festivities. There's food. There's drinking, partying. You know, a lot to do. And another unique thing to St. Vincent is something called 9 Mornings, which is around Christmas time. So it's 9 days leading up to Christmas. We have a festival in the center of our island main city, Kingston. So yeah, you go there, you know, there are games. It's a nice family event, a lot of fun. So yeah, many different things to try and see. Yeah.
So what do you want to do in the future? Do you want to move to different countries or?
I definitely want to do some exploring. Of course, I want to go back to St. Vincent. I kind of miss my mom, you know, so I want to see her. But my main goal right now is, well, at the end of August, I'll be moving to Kaohsiung. So I'll be studying entertainment and media management. So I'll be getting into film and photography and production, stuff like that. And then, yeah, just hopefully after that, I can just go on and document. Because I like to write, I like to do blogs and reviews and stuff like that. So I want to document life in general. So I want to see different cultures, different people, and just experience.
Yeah, amazing. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what did you learn from coming to Asia for life lessons?
Life lessons.
So many people here.
Definitely not to judge a book by its cover. Like, people are different all over, but at some point you've got to realize that we all have similarities, you know. Like, sure, you might be Asian, I'm from the Caribbean, but just because we have a language barrier and different cultures doesn't mean there isn't a center point where we can come together and meet. Maybe we have similar interests, maybe we've experienced similar events or stuff like that that we can, you know, discuss and talk about and bond on. Another thing I've also learned is do not be afraid to make mistakes. You know, like, I always strive to be a perfectionist. So by being a perfectionist, I've lost touch with my emotions at times. So I can be a little bit insensitive and not realize how that affects others around me. So coming here, I've definitely learned a lot about myself, because back home I have all my friends, family around me, people that I'm very much used to. So it's coming to Taiwan has given me a way to grow and a way to see myself in a different light, to see the good and the bad, to figure out many different things that I didn't know about myself before and find new interests.
Oh, amazing. Nice to meet you.
Nice
Thank you
to
so
meet
much.
you.